This is the story of a $10,000 electric car that five-star crash-tested its way into over 1 million sales in just 27 months, and why America is spending enormous political energy to make sure you never get the chance to buy one. The car is the BYD Seagull, and in China, it starts at roughly $7,800. It delivers up to 405 kilometers of range from a lithium iron phosphate battery, charges from 30 to 80% in about half an hour, and pulled a maximum 5-star Euro NCAP safety rating in September 2025. By virtually any measure, this is the most disruptive vehicle in the global car market right now. And if you live in the United States, you cannot buy one, not because it fails any safety standard, and not because BYD can't figure out how to export, but because the US government has built a two-lock door specifically designed to keep cars like this out. BYD unveiled the Seagull on April 27, 2023 at the Shanghai Auto Show, where 10,000 orders reportedly landed within 24 hours. It's an A-segment 5-door hatchback measuring just 3.78 meters, powered by a single 55-kilowatt electric motor paired with BYD's own Blade battery in either a 30 or 39 kilowatt-hour configuration, and the design came from Wolfgang Egger, formerly of Lamborghini. Small, cheerful, and astonishingly cheap. At launch, the base cost around 73,800 yuan, which worked out to roughly 10,700 US dollars. By mid-2025, a brutal Chinese price war had dragged that figure down to 55,800 yuan, about $7,800. To put that in perspective,
but this Seagull won't do any of that. But it might just become Australia's cheapest EV.
The cheapest new electric car on sale in the United States right now is the Nissan Leaf at around $29,000 to $31,000. The returning Chevrolet Bolt due mid-2026 will sit near $29,000, and a Tesla Model 3 starts north of $36,000. The Seagull costs roughly a third of any of them. None of that cheapness comes at the expense of safety. That Euro NCAP 5-star result broke down to 82% for adult occupant protection.
The BYD Seagull may be a budget-friendly electric vehicle, but it is bringing high-end safety features into an affordable package.
86% for child occupant, and 77% for safety assist, which brought BYD's total 5-star Euro NCAP count to 8. 1 million cumulative global sales arrived by June 2025, just 27 months after launch, making it the fastest A00 class EV ever to hit that number. Different markets know it by different names. In Brazil, it launched as the Dolphin Mini in February 2024 and set a national record with 7,635 first-day sales. Europe got the Dolphin Surf in May 2025, starting from 19,990 euros, and parts of Asia-Pacific sell it as the Atto One. Export versions are slightly larger and more powerful than the Chinese original, which partly explains the higher sticker price abroad, but even at 20,000 euros, it still undercuts most European rivals by a wide margin, and it picked up the 2025 World Urban Car Award on the way. If you're watching from Australia, the UK, or mainland Europe, you can actually walk into a showroom and test drive one. The American market tells a very different story. If you're finding this useful, a quick subscribe helps more than you'd think and means you won't miss what's coming next. The first lock is tariffs. On May 14, 2024, the Biden administration announced it would quadruple the Section 301 tariff on Chinese electric vehicles from 25% to 100%, and that decision became final on September 13, 2024. Stack that on top of the existing 2.5% base auto duty and a 10% Trump-era levy, and a Chinese EV crossing into the United States now faces a combined hit of approximately 112.5%. A car priced at $10,000 becomes a $21,000 car before it reaches any showroom. What most people miss entirely is that even if every one of those tariffs vanished overnight, the Seagull still could not be sold in America, and that's because of the second lock, a connected vehicle ban. On January 14, 2025, the U.S. Commerce Department finalized a rule that blocks the import and sale of connected vehicle software from Chinese and Russian-controlled entities starting with model year 2027, with hardware restrictions following for model year 2030. Every modern EV depends on connected software for navigation, over-the-air updates, and driver assistance, which makes this an effective ban on Chinese passenger EVs at any price point. Senator Elissa Slotkin has called Chinese cars surveillance packages on wheels, and in April 2026, she joined Senator Bernie Moreno to introduce the bipartisan Connected Vehicle Security Act, designed to lock that ban into law with civil penalties starting at $1.5 million per violation. Ford, GM, Stellantis, Honda, the Alliance for Automotive Innovation, and the UAW all lined up behind the bill, and over 70 House Democrats separately urged the Trump administration to ban Chinese-made vehicle imports outright. Political consensus in Washington on this topic is unusually unified, and the message is clear: Chinese EVs are not welcome. What drives that level of alarm is the size and source of BYD's cost advantage. In 2023, the Swiss bank UBS tore down a BYD Seagull, the company's direct Tesla Model 3 competitor, and discovered it cost roughly 15% less to build than the China-made Tesla Model 3 and about 35% less than a comparable Volkswagen ID.3. 75% of the Seagull's components came from BYD's own factories, compared to roughly 46% for the China-built Model 3, and UBS concluded that even producing cars in Europe, BYD would hold on to an approximately 25% cost edge over European rivals. That advantage flows from vertical integration on a scale no Western automaker currently matches. BYD manufactures its own batteries, its own motors, and its own power semiconductors. Warren Buffett's late partner, Charlie Munger, backed their 2008 investment in the company precisely because of founder Wang Chunfu's manufacturing vision. And the running joke is that BYD builds everything except the tires and the glass. Blade battery cells now ship to Tesla, Toyota, Ford, and Mercedes. Subsidies play a real part in the equation too. Between 2018 and 2022, the Kiel Institute for the World Economy tracked 3.4 billion euros in direct Chinese government subsidies flowing to BYD, jumping from 220 million euros in 2020 to 2.1 billion in 2022. BYD's own 2025 annual report disclosed 12.47 billion yuan in operating subsidies, about $1.8 billion, which represented over 31% of pre-tax profit. Chairman Wang Chunfu countered that the company paid 53.3 billion yuan in domestic taxes that same year, roughly 41 billion more than it took in subsidies. The honest read is that both things are true at once. BYD holds a genuine engineering and manufacturing edge, and Chinese state support has amplified it. The subsidies didn't create the advantage from scratch, but they have made it wider and harder to compete against. That combination of efficiency and support has produced results that would have sounded absurd 5 years ago. In 2024, BYD moved 4.27 million vehicles, up 41% year-on-year. Full year 2025 brought the headline nobody in Detroit wanted to see. BYD overtook Tesla in annual battery electric vehicle sales for the first time, shipping 2.26 million BEVs against Tesla's 1.64 million deliveries. By early 2026, BYD controlled 12.1% of the global BEV market versus Tesla's 8.8%. Tesla's CEO clearly grasps what's happening. On the fourth quarter 2023 earnings call in January 2024, Elon Musk put it bluntly: "The Chinese car companies are the most competitive car companies in the world. Frankly, I think if there are not trade barriers established, they will pretty much demolish most other car companies in the world." Ford CEO Jim Farley went even further after visiting China in 2024, telling a board member, "This is an existential threat." He later warned that China already possesses enough capacity to serve the entire North American market, put us all out of business. Japan never had that. BYD's own stance is that none of this requires America. Executive Vice President Stella Lee declared in April 2026, "We survive and are successful without the US market today." Factories are going up in Thailand, Brazil, Hungary, and Turkey, with reported talks underway to take over underused Stellantis plants in Europe. Overseas sales topped 1 million units in 2025, a 200% year-on-year jump, and the 2026 target sits at 1.5 million vehicles. This story stretches well beyond American borders. The European Union arrived at a similar verdict on Chinese EV pricing, opening an anti-subsidy investigation in October 2023 and imposing definitive countervailing duties in October 2024 at 17% on BYD, nearly 19% on Geely, and over 35% on SAIC, all layered on top of the standard 10% car import duty. Canada went with a 100% tariff of its own, and China retaliated with a WTO complaint, plus probes into European brandy, dairy, and pork. What no one in Washington is eager to spell out is the cost of keeping a safe, affordable electric car away from millions of potential buyers. The cheapest new EV in America runs 3 times what the Seagull costs in China, and if the stated goal is speeding up the shift away from fossil fuels, locking out the world's most affordable electric car works directly against that. Clean energy advocates argue that building a domestic green supply chain matters more in the long run than importing cheap Chinese vehicles. But the short-term drag on the energy transition is difficult to deny. The case for restriction rests on the idea that no country should let its personal transportation infrastructure depend on a single foreign supplier, especially one with a complicated track record. In December 2024, Brazilian authorities discovered over 160 Chinese workers at BYD's factory construction site in Camaçari, living in what officials described as slavery-like conditions, including withheld passports and retained wages. And by April 2026, Brazil had placed BYD on its forced labor employer registry. The BYD Seagull sits at the center of one of the decade's sharpest economic and political questions. Does the world take the cheapest route to electric mobility, even when that route runs through China, or does it pay more, move slower, and build the supply chain at home? America has already answered, and the two-lock door stays shut. Whether that decision protects its auto industry or merely postpones the inevitable will define the next chapter of the global EV race. If this breakdown helped, subscribing is the best way to keep up with how the Chinese car market is reshaping the industry. Thanks for watching.